have seen a whole lot of Soviet fighters in recent times.
Yeah, we have. And tonight we get another one in Dmitry Epishin, and we'll have to see what he offers against Runnell Dahl.
So it'll be Epishin against Runnell Dahl, and this one, too, pits some interesting styles. Let's get up to the center of the ring now, and Ed Darian. Ed.
Live from the Broadway by the Bay Theater here at Harrah's, Atlantic City, New Jersey, the boxing capital of the world. As Top Rank Incorporated and Budweiser, the king of beers, in association with Harrah's, proudly present Top Rank Boxing, and is approved by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, the Honorable Larry Hazard Sr. Commissioner. In the ring at this time, the man in charge of the scheduled 8-round featherweight bout, referee Lindsey Page. And now, my good friends, introducing the principals. First, in the red corner, wearing the blue trunks with the gold trim. He weighed in at an even 124 pounds. A native of Russia and now residing in Brooklyn, New York, this young man has a professional record of 9 wins, 1 loss with 3 knockouts. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to Harrah's, Atlantic City, Dmitry Epishin. Epishin. And his opponent in the blue corner, wearing the white trunks with the blue trim. He too weighed in at an even 124 pounds. From Bessemer City, North Carolina. He has 8 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw with 1 knockout. Boxing fans, here is Runnell Dahl.
So those are the participants. It is incidentally Epishin, and let's talk about the rules.
All right, and 3 knockdown rule effect. There is a standing 8 here. The doctor can stop the bout at any point. 10-point must. When it gets 10, loser 9 or less. The referee does not figure in the scoring. Cannot be saved by the bell in any round.
And with that, we are all set to go. Epishin and Dahl. Epishin in the blue trunks, Dahl in the white. And as we said earlier, we have suddenly seen a preponderance of Russian fighters now, and they all live in Brooklyn, as a matter of fact.
We talked last week or so about the influx of those boxers, and as you say, the fact they live in Brooklyn, and the fact that it's an interesting community because so many Russians today, a lot of them speak Russian still, and it's very difficult for them to work on their English speaking skills.
The streets are safe. Got enough tough guys.
These boxers keep coming over your right. Runnell Dahl is a former amateur champion in the Army. We saw him on the Olympic Festival on ESPN. He's a 30-year-old now who got a kind of a late start in boxing, and he's had a tough outing his last time out here on ESPN. He lost a 6-round match, and it was a tough loss for him against Derek Gaynor, who's a big, tall lefty. And he said, we talked to us today, he said, I just hope this guy isn't a big, tall lefty. I don't want to see another one like that.
And sure enough, he's not. Rather short right-hander. Almost all the Russian fighters that we've seen, too, have really managed to pretty much get rid of the European straight up and down style.
Very good point, Barry. And they've kept what's good about that style and added some things. We saw it in the last couple of weeks. Now there's Epishin with the uppercut from way out. That is a very dangerous move because, and you see Dahl, who knows, is a very, well-schooled boxer from all his amateur career, knows to counter with the left hook when the guy throws that uppercut from way out.
Runnell Dahl, incidentally, now training himself. He has some people that work with him in the gym back in Hillcrest Heights, Maryland, but for all intent, he is his own trainer. And I would have to think that's very difficult.
Yeah, because that extra pair of eyes and ears helps. He does have some people that are looking at him when he's doing his work down there, but it helps to have that extra insight. Epishin's boxing very well here in the first round.
Had a couple good body shots. There's another one.
Dahl is a good body puncher, and you see him going downstairs.
So we come to the end of round number 1. A pretty good round for Dmitry Epishin against Runnell Dahl. We'll be back. We start the second round. Epishin with a very good first round. And Dahl's going to have to find a way to keep Epishin off him with the body shots especially. Good right hand there by Dahl. Epishin walked right into that. Numbers in the first round, and not as clear a round for Epishin as I would have thought.
No, well, I think it's because Runnell Dahl landed a lot of body shots. It seemed like those were probably a lot that were counted. Now, Punch Profile is counting the body shots, but we know judges are notorious for not doing it. You know, as I'm watching this bout and I'm thinking back on their history, Dahl, a 5-time Army champion, and Epishin, 85-5, a Russian champion. They could have easily met each other as amateurs. They didn't, but they, you know, even though they're from a slightly different age bracket, it's like you're watching two real good former amateur boxers from two different countries that were powerhouses.
Yeah, Epishin, as a matter of fact, was the Russian state champion, because remember, in the old Soviet Union,
That's
of course,
right.
Russia was just a state.
USSR. We're learning so much in the last couple of weeks, huh?
It's unbelievable.
What makes this a great gig. You learn things. And hopefully we transmit them to you, the viewer.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Dahl having a much better round here.
Yeah, he looked sharper in this fight. He told us that he had better training for this bout, and that's a key for him. And he wants to stay very active.
Epishin trying to make that uppercut work. He got there with the right hand.
In his last 4 fights, or his last 5 fights, it's been 3 losses, a draw, and a win for Runnell Dahl. So he really needs a win badly here.
Yeah, he's had a tough time, but he had a bone contusion that forced him to lay off for 2 months. That was after he lost to Benjamin Amparo here in Atlantic City. He actually had a draw with Amparo. Prior to that, a 10-round loss to Clarence Adams down in South Carolina. Then he came back and lost his only fight in 1993 to Derek Gainer, as you mentioned. Both fighters doing some pretty good body work.
Yeah, both are skilled boxers. That's why I made even the amateur reference. They both have good skills. They're both good technical boxers, and they're doing the right things even when they don't work. I mean, Dahl knows to counter with that left hook over the right hand. It just isn't getting there all the time. There it is.
Come on, dog. Yeah.
A lot of strategy in this fight.
So we come to the end of the second round. Much better round for Runnell Dahl. I would have to think he probably did enough to win this round. We'll be back. And we start round 3. Dmitry Epishin of Russia, now living in Brooklyn, in the blue trunks, and Runnell Dahl in the white trunks. Been a very close fight. And again, the third round starting out very much like the second round. Barry Tompkins with Al Bernstein. We welcome you to Atlantic City. Our main event tonight, Ricky Myers and Zach Padilla. Right now, we have just started the third round of our first fight. This between Dmitry Epishin and Runnell Dahl. These two are featherweights, and so far it's been a very even fight. We have given a round to each fighter so far.
Yeah, and Epishin, as you mentioned, a fine Russian fighter. Runnell Dahl, a former U.S. amateur boxing champion, and it has been close. Both men have fought well here in the first couple rounds.
Dahl, who really needs this fight. You pointed this out, actually, before we came live to you. And the reason for that is that he's had 2 losses and a draw in his last 4 fights.
Very important for him to get a win, and he is in against a man with a much different style than the last man he lost to, Derek Gainer, who's a big, tall lefty. Gave him lots of physical problems, but Epishin much more his size, his style that he can deal with. Epishin's overhand right by Dahl hurts him.
Yeah, it did. Into the ropes, bounced off with another right hand, and now Epishin will get on his bike.
Peter Kahn told us today that Epishin has a great chin, and he's showing it here because Dahl nailed him with some huge shots.
There's another one. He's hit him with that right hand now in this fight about 4 times, but 3 of them in this round.
Sometimes Runnell Dahl tends to open the hand a little bit with that right, and that diminishes the power a bit, but a couple of those got there very well.
Epishin appears to be okay.
Dmitry started out boxing well in the first round, and then he's been a little less effective in the last couple of rounds. Those were great punches. What he's found is he can really get there with the left hook. Very good third round for Runnell Dahl, and he has swung the momentum of this fight, at least temporarily, to him.
So we start round number 4. Epishin and Dahl in the last round, a pivotal round, and it could have gone to either man. Here are the numbers through 3 rounds so far. Epishin slightly the best of it, but Dahl with a higher connect percentage, so it's a grab bag.
That's interesting, because I thought Dahl won that third round, and yet the numbers aren't totally reflective of that. Although Epishin won the first one, so could account for the difference there.
Epishin throwing more punches. Crowd very quiet here at Harris.
Well, and this has been an interesting fight. It's not a wild action fight, but I think it's been pretty interesting. A lot of punches landed. And, it's a very intriguing strategy by both men. Page gives a warning to Dahl for keeping his punches up. And it's important for Dahl to keep doing the body work, though, so shouldn't be intimidated by that.
Dahl sticks his head out of the ropes, almost like a wrestler.
It's a good way to avoid. Actually, if you're in that position, if the guy hits you in that posture, it should be illegal anyway. So you do that and wait for the referee to get there. Dahl really looking for the lead right over the very low left hand of Dmitry Epishin.
Had a little bit of clash of heads there a moment ago, too. Doesn't seem to be much danger of that in this fight, but there was a little bit.
As I mentioned, 5-time Army champion. Terrific amateur, as was Epishin, who had 85 wins as an amateur. You can see a lot of that training in what they do here.
Tempo of this fight is slow.
Epishin really looking for that uppercut, and he's getting hit with some counter shots as a result of it.
Dahl has found a lot of success with that right hand, but you mentioned it earlier, he has a tendency to slap just a little bit with it.
Yeah, which is the only problem, that diminishes the power.
Dahl looking to counter over the left hand of Epishin.
It's been a very close round here in the fourth. All of a sudden now, Epishin finding a home for his left hook. He's landed that punch a couple of times.
Got the uppercut there that time. Pretty good shot. He takes the left hand from Dahl. Very good 4th round, really, for both men. We'll be back.
There's an old phrase, if a performer gets a standing ovation, how do you tell him he did something wrong? In that case, the uppercut from way far back by Epishin, it's wrong, but guess what? It landed to the head of Runnell Dahl.
Yeah, and that's what the judges are looking at. They're not, you don't get style points here.
No, so even though you did a wrong thing and somebody else might have countered you, you still got away with it.
Through the first 5 rounds, this is how close the fight is.
Epishin with a very, very slight edge. So, I mean, this bout is right there for the take.
And in this case, of course, those numbers aren't necessarily indicative of how the fight has gone. Many times, and most times, in fact, they are. But in this particular case, you don't know who had the punches in what round. A reminder, of course, our main event, Zach Padilla and Ricky Myers. That is still to come after Ringside Report. Only with you for an hour and a half tonight.
A shortened version of Top Rank Boxing.
Boxus interruptus.
What we lack in quantity, we will more than make up for in quality. How's that sound?
Ooh, strong statement.
Yeah. I'm not running for anything. I don't have to worry about my campaign promises.
You were kissing babies earlier.
Well, that's true. Because they were 22 years old. That was the bad part. Okay. Anyway, we've been so good, too, through this evening. Epishin has found it difficult to pierce the defense of Runnell Dahl. When he doesn't go to the body and Dahl keeps his hands up, it's real tough for Epishin to get those punches. But it's been tough for Dahl, too, in many cases.
There was a nice right hand. That was a very good move by Epishin.
See, there's the left hook of Dahl being slapping with it a little bit. It's a habit that he had when he was in the amateurs, when we saw him in the Olympic Festival, and it's hung with him a little bit.
A little bit of a cut over the left eye of Epishin now. At this juncture, I don't really believe it'll be a big factor in the fight.
Runnell Dahl was so candid with us when he talked with us earlier today. Just real honest about what training he's gotten and how important this fight is, what he needs to do to get better as a boxer.
We're headed for the end of round number 6. This fight is scheduled for 8, and it'll be decided in the final 2. We welcome you back to Harrah's in Atlantic City. I'm Barry Tompkins. Along with Al Bernstein, you were looking at Runnell Dahl, who is trying to reverse a disturbing trend for him. 2 losses and a draw in his last 3 fights. He's right in this one with Dmitry Epishin of Russia, now living in Brooklyn. Very close fight.
Yeah, you saw Runnell Dahl race across and triple up with the jab. See, look at how that puts you in position. He missed the right hand, but when you double and triple up with your jab, good things are usually going to happen. Epishin in the last round, there you see the numbers in the 6th round, and to buttress that, Epishin landed 22 power shots during the round to 5 by Runnell Dahl.
Your card, a 1-point fight for Epishin. This fight has all the makings of a draw.
Yeah, or at least a split decision. Runnell Dahl has come out with renewed vigor in this round, and see, even that sounds like I'm running something. Renewed vigor is a political phrase. And it's like he wants to make something happen because I think he senses that this fight is there for the taking. Good body work by Dahl. And he's kind of abandoned that a little bit, Barry. That was a good ticket for him early in the bout.
Both fighters seem to be a little bit more cautious as we get into this 7th round. As you mentioned, Dahl came out strongly, but both fighters looking for the right thing, maybe even thinking a little bit too much.
I want to mention an organization that we're going to be giving you more news on this as the weeks go on. It's called BOX, the Beneficial Organization for Ex-Fighters. I'm on the board of this group, as are other people like Gil Clancy, Freddie Pacheco, Gene Hackman, Tony Danza, Burt Young, Randy Gordon, the Commission of New York State Commission, many boxing people. And it's a group that's gotten together to benefit ex-boxers, provide funding for them. And their first meeting yesterday, which I could not attend, unfortunately, but and now they're going to try and raise funds for boxers to help them out, create rules whereby boxers can get some help.
An idea that probably should have been around about 50 years ago.
Yeah, and these people are intent on making it work, and we're all going to pitch in and hopefully create some fundraising situations and provide criteria so that boxers can get help when they need it financially and otherwise. It's long overdue because these men that go in the ring, we talk about it each week, they're good guys and they work hard at their craft.
They really are. I've said that on numerous occasions, that dealing with athletes in a lot of different sports as I do, I sooner deal with boxers than any other athlete.
Yeah. This a round here in the 7th round that, again, will leave the judges scratching their heads, I think.
Yeah, very difficult. We always talk about the wildly diverse judging that we see here, and you really have an idea that different judges can see this one very differently. So UTEP going to be looking for a little...
I'm telling you. That would be a good game you're going to do in New Mexico.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That is also a good rivalry.
The Pit, great place.
I helped them close the cage last week.
Yes, you did. With the locks on the cage.
Yeah, we locked it up.
Actually, I read a couple of editorials in the Albuquerque paper. They say the fans in the Pit are not what they were. Ooh, so you can get them pumped up tomorrow night.
Your being there will do it.
Yeah.
This is a round in which this bout could easily be taken because it's been so close. There's been very little to choose from between these two boxers.
I think Epishin thought that he might have been butted. He ran his hand through his hair, looked at it to see if there's any blood.
Peter Kahn was talking to us, the trainer for Epishin. He said, you know, this comes down to the fact that Runnell Dahl's a good, tough, solid kid. I just think I have a little tougher, more solid kid. But if he does, it's only by a little bit.
Well, this fight literally could come down to this last minute and 31 seconds.
Yeah. And, you know, I think Runnell Dahl found a key a couple of rounds ago when he started really using his jab and doubling and tripling with it, and then he would get punches off that. He stopped doing it now, and I think it's been a problem for him. And Epishin is boxing well here in this 8th round.
I don't believe that was from a punch. Maybe it was.
He may have been hit with a punch, but I think he just was off balance. Runnell Dahl having a hard time cutting the ring off, and Epishin countering him as he did with that last right hand.
One thing, Dahl said he was not in great shape for his last fight, and that was a losing effort to Derek Gainer, as you mentioned, but I don't believe conditioning is any kind of a problem. He does appear to be in excellent shape.
Yeah, although he's losing a little technique on some of his punches, slapping with him, that's usually a sign of fatigue, but then that happened to him earlier in the fight as well.
The left hand got there, but the right hand was blocked by the glove of Epishin.
By and large, this has been a very good 8th round for Dmitry Epishin. And depending on how the judges have it to this point, of course, it may or may not be enough to get him the bout.
So this one is 5 seconds away from being history, and the decision is in doubt. A right hand by Dahl. That might have been his best shot of the fight, and it comes in the last couple of seconds, so it's all over.
Is it enough, though, at the end? Runnell Dahl feels it is, to give him the fight over Epishin.
One of those fights where both fighters trying to sell it to the crowd. A very, very close fight.
Runnell Dahl. Yeah, there's a good game coming up.
Yep, this is the annual Pro Bowl game in Honolulu. Great junket for all the ESPN folk. Go over there for the final, the 1993, 92, 93, really, NFL season. Andre Reed, Jerry Rice, a couple of great wide receivers in the ball game. Reggie White, where's he going to play next year? Nobody seems to know. He'll be over there. And the players and everybody who covers the Pro Bowl always has a great time. It's right here on ESPN, 8 o'clock Eastern time from Honolulu on Sunday. Meanwhile, you get a good look at Dmitry Epishin. And I'm sure there's a little bit of a question mark in his mind, as there is in the other corner.
You can see how close this is, and this 24-year-old Dmitry Epishin won the punch battle by a little bit, and Runnell Dahl, as you look at him, came up a little short in that area, but as you point out, it depends on which rounds you land more punches in as to whether you get the decision or not.
Should be a close decision. We'll find out as we take you now to the center of the ring and Ed Darian. Ed.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Harrah's Atlantic City, we've got the scoring. Judge Richard Strange observed 77-75 Epishin. Judge Tommy Kazmarek, he watched it even at 76-76. And Judge John Poteray, he scored 77-75, which means, ladies and gentlemen, this bout is a draw. A draw.
Well, we mentioned it in about the 6th round. It had all the makings of a draw, and what do you know? It had all the makings of a draw. We'll be back with Ringside Report after this.